The glove goes missing. On the morning of July 3rd, 9-year-old Ekim Notnats woke up to the smell of sunscreen, sizzling burgers, and freedom. Independence Day was nearly here, and he was ready for the annual neighborhood baseball game. Kids versus parents, with glory, bragging rights, and a sparkler trophy on the line. Ekim reached under his bed for his lucky glove, the one with the faded red laces and a faint signature scrawled on the palm. It always brought him good catches and even better stories. But this morning, it wasn't there. He turned his room upside down, checked the backyard, the garage, the dog's secret bone stash. Nothing. The glove was gone. That's when he noticed something strange peeking out from behind a stack of old trading cards in his closet. One card shimmered like metal in the sunlight, though there was no sunlight hitting it. It featured a player in a tricorn hat with a powdered wig and knee-high stockings, holding a musket like a bat. Ekim squinted. "The Continental Slugger?" he read aloud. As his fingers brushed the card, a gust of wind whooshed through his room. The walls melted into parchment. The floorboards turned to cobblestone, and suddenly, Ekim wasn't in his room anymore. He was standing in the middle of Philadelphia in 1776? A horse-drawn cart clattered past him. Men in breeches and women in bonnets bustled down the street, murmuring about independence and the king's tyranny. Firecrackers popped in the distance, and church bells rang out from Independence Hall. Ekim looked down. The card had vanished, and in his pocket was a map. At the top it read, "Find the glove, preserve the dream." And scribbled just beneath it, in a curly, hurried scrawl, "Begin with the inventor of sparks. He knows what lights the fire." Chapter 2 coming up next, where Ekim follows the map to a certain kite-flying gentleman with a fondness for electricity and clever wordplay. Chapter 2, Sparks and Clues. Ekim tucked the mysterious map into his hoodie pocket and stepped into the cobblestone streets of revolutionary Philadelphia. As he wandered, he marveled at the sounds, hoofbeats, shouts of tradesmen, the distant clatter of blacksmith, and children playing with hoops and sticks. It was the same kind of lively energy as his own town before the 4th of July game, only dustier and with more powdered wigs. The clue said, "Begin with the inventor of sparks. He knows what lights the fire." If there was one person Ekim knew who fit that description, it was Benjamin Franklin, the old guy with glasses, kites, and, apparently, answers. He followed signs toward Market Street, where a bustling printing press roared inside a brick building. There, inside, sat the man himself, round spectacles perched on his nose, hands busy stacking broadsheets of the Pennsylvania Gazette. Ekim stepped inside, trying to act casual. Excuse me, sir. Are you Benjamin Franklin?" The man looked up, his eyes twinkling. "Indeed I am, young man. And you look peculiar. Is that a jacket with a zipper? Fascinating." Ekim grinned nervously. I come from the future. I'm looking for my baseball glove. It's really important. A map told me to find you." Franklin raised a bushy brow. "A map, eh? And does this map mention what kind of glove?" "It's leather, red laces, really awesome." Franklin stroked his chin. You're not the first visitor seeking unusual items. And on this eve of independence, the unusual is quite usual." From a drawer he pulled out a folded parchment. "This note was left here this morning. It reads, 'To the boy with the spark, let liberty guide your catch. Seek the quill that pens the dream.'" Ekim's eyes widened. Another clue. Franklin smiled. "I suspect the author of your next chapter resides at the State House. Best get moving, lad, and beware. The glove may not be the only thing someone's trying to keep hidden." As Ekim stepped out into the Philadelphia sun, clutching the parchment, he saw red-coated British soldiers patrolling on horseback, their eyes scanning the crowd. He ducked behind a barrel. The game was no longer just about the glove. Something deeper was unraveling, a secret that tied his lost mitt to the birth of a nation. Coming up in Chapter 3, Ekim sneaks into the Continental Congress and meets the man with the mighty pen, Thomas Jefferson, only to uncover a clue that could lead him into enemy hands. Chapter 3. The Pen and the Pursuit. Ekim darted through winding streets and across muddy alleys until he reached the great stone building that towered like a fortress of parchment and dreams, the Pennsylvania State House, later known as Independence Hall. A banner flapped overhead reading, "Liberty through Unity," and a crowd had gathered to hear whispers of a declaration that would shake the world. He crept around the side, avoiding the red-coated sentries. Behind a bush, a cellar door creaked open. A wiry man in spectacles stepped out holding a sheaf of papers and muttering to himself. "Mr. Jefferson?" Ekim whispered. The man turned, startled. "Who? Are you one of Franklin's experiments?" "More like a friend of liberty," Ekim grinned. "I'm looking for something, my glove, but it's part of something bigger, isn't it?" Jefferson looked at him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "Come inside, but quietly. History prefers hushed voices." Ekim followed him down a corridor lit by oil lamps. The walls were lined with books and maps. Quills scratched against parchment as men gathered around tables, debating words that would light a revolution. Jefferson leaned in. "Your glove may have been seen near the Liberty Bell. But before you go, take this." He handed Ekim a small scroll sealed with wax. "A loyalist has been snooping around the bell tower. Protect this message. It contains a draft of our declaration. If it falls into wrong hands—" I get it," Ekim said, tucking the scroll into his hoodie. "No pressure." As he slipped back into the streets, the sun dipped low. A shadow darted across the cobblestones behind him. Someone was following him. Coming up next, Ekim races to the Liberty Bell as mysterious figures give chase, and secrets about his glove and the founding of a nation begin to ring loud and clear. Chapter 4. Bells, Betrayals, and a Hidden Catch. Ekim bolted down Chestnut Street, dodging crates and startled chickens. Behind him, bootsteps echoed, sharp, deliberate, and much too close. Whoever was following him wasn't just a curious colonist. Clutching the scroll and his map, Ekim slipped into a side alley and peeked around the corner. A man in dark blue, definitely not a redcoat, but not a patriot either, was sniffing around like a fox near a henhouse. He wore no insignia, just a jagged scar across his cheek and a patch sewn with a strange symbol, a cracked glove inside a crown. "What in Betsy Ross's bobbin?" Ekim muttered. The bell tower loomed just ahead. With a last sprint, he darted inside and scrambled up the wooden staircase. Each step creaked like it might betray him. At the top, the mighty Liberty Bell stood quiet and cracked, but still magnificent. Dust sparkled in the beams of twilight sun, and resting on the wooden floor beside the bell's base was his glove. Ekim lunged, but a gloved hand snatched it first. "Looking for this, boy?" said the scar-faced man, stepping out of the shadows. "This isn't just any glove. It's a relic, passed through generations of freedom seekers. We can't let it fall into the hands of patriots or children." "Too late for that," Ekim said, heart pounding. "This glove belongs to a free country, and I'm taking it back." The man lunged. Ekim ducked and slid across the floor, snatching the glove mid-roll. The Liberty Bell echoed a low thrum as he bumped into its base. Suddenly, the bell shimmered, just like the baseball card had. Light pulsed along its crack, surrounding Ekim in a golden glow. "Wait! What are you?" the man shouted, and then everything went white. Coming soon, Ekim's return to the present with the glove, but also something more. A truth to share, a secret to protect, and a renewed pride in the country whose story he now feels part of. Chapter 5. Fireworks and First Pitches. The glow faded. Ekim blinked and found himself face first on his bedroom carpet, his glove clenched tightly in his hand, the same red laces, the same dusty scent of old leather and firecracker ash. The shimmering baseball card rested beside him, now dull and ordinary, as if it had exhausted its magic. His hoodie still held the faint scent of parchment and pine smoke, and tucked inside his pocket, the scroll, intact, real. He raced downstairs. Outside, the sounds of the neighborhood game echoed through the yard. Laughter, cheering, someone shouting, "Kids, take the field!" Ekim burst onto the grass and waved his glove in the air. "I'm in! I found it!" But as he slid into the lineup, he felt different. Not older, exactly. Just fuller, like he carried something bigger than the game now. Between innings, he sat on the bleachers and unrolled the scroll. It wasn't the declaration itself, just a copy. But at the bottom, in a different hand, was a line written just for him. Freedom is not simply given. It must be caught with courage and held with care. Signed, a friend of liberty. That night, beneath the sky blazing with red, white, and blue fireworks, Ekim watched with new eyes. He knew that Independence Day wasn't just hot dogs and home runs. It was a story, his story, of ordinary people doing extraordinary things for an idea called liberty. And just before bed, he slipped that glove under his pillow. Because who knows? Tomorrow might bring another adventure.